Hello everyone, and welcome to another Pathfinder adventure card game scenario. We're with the character Damiel, and we're on scenario 4.5 over at the crypt, where at this location, the difficulty of checks against Banes that have the cold or undead trait is increased by 3 plus the scenario's adventure deck number. So that would be actually a +7 modifier. Alright, well let's see if Damiel is up to the task. Advancing the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of Nephis. Exploring, we get a Carrion Golem. Alright, so the Carrion Golem, it's a Construct Golem Elite. Check to defeat combat 14. Immune to the attack, mental, and poison traits. Alright, so let's see. Construct Golem Elite. What does, well, fortunately, Damiel has a Chakram in his hand. But it says here, before you act, discard the top card of your deck. Oh, that's unfortunate. We have to lose a Blessing of Kepri. Let's see, what else do we have to do here? So I think what we want to do, it's a combat 14. We kind of want to, I don't think this chakra is going to be enough in this case. So what we want to do is we're just going to go ahead and use the Fire Lance. It's going to be 48, and we'll go ahead and use the Embalming Fluid. No, we can't, because it's immune to the poison trait. So we can't use the Embalming Fluid. So we're just going to go straight up, use the Fire Lance, 48, let's see, and just to make sure, we're going to go ahead and use a Blessed of Thoth. We're going to make it 5d8. We don't want to take any chances here. So roll 8 and a 3, and a 4, and a 4. So another, 16, 19, 26, more than enough to defeat the Carrion Golem. Alright, so we did defeat it, but there was a price to pay. We lost 2 cards. Alright, resetting Damiel's deck. We're going to advance the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of the Elements. Let's see, we do have a Scarab Buckler in our hand. Debating whether or not to use it right now. We'll keep it for now. We're going to explore. We get a Ghost of Battling Ring. This is a check to acquire. Arcane Divine Knowledge 8. Damiel has D4 in all those stats. It's an accessory Magic Pharasma Veteran, so none of those traits will really help Damiel. So I think, unless we want to spend a blessing on this, and we don't have a blessing in our hand, we will just say this is an auto fail. Still debating whether to use that Scarab Buckler. I do have a Potion of Healing. We're going to go ahead and use this. We're going to discard it, and since we discard a card, we can draw a card, because that's Damiel's special power when he uses something with the alchemical trait. And now we're going to roll a total of d4 and get 1d4 random cards out of our location deck. We rolled a 2. So we are just shuffling these cards. Let's go ahead and pick that one we won't get. So we won't get the Blessed of Thoth back, but we'll get Blessed of Kepri and a Fire Lance. So pretty happy about that. Let me go ahead and shuffle those back in. Now, what we're going to do is, so that was that. We will go ahead and advance the Blessings deck. It's a Blessed of Wadjet, and we will explore. We get the Crocodile Skin Helmet, Constitution Fortitude 6 check. Damiel's Constitution is a D8. So roll the 2. We do not acquire this boon, but since it is a basic level, it's not really that interesting to trade to a trader anyway. Looking at the hand is fine for Damiel. Advancing the Blessings deck, it's a Blessed of Isis. And exploring, we get a Collapsing Sphinx, trigger obstacle Sphinx. So we had to do a Dexterity, Stealth, Wisdom, or Perception 12 check. So we did not examine this card. Alright, so it's a trigger obstacle Sphinx. Damiel doesn't have any powers that are going to help him out with this card. He doesn't have a blessing, so let's see, what are we going to do? We are going to let's see, Shucks. It's a barrier. Well, it says here, this is a barrier. It says for your combat check or your check against a barrier. So that this acid flask is actually this is a barrier. It says for your combat check or your check against a barrier, banish this card to use your disable or range skill plus 2d6. Wow. So it's really beneficial that we have the acid flask. So we're going to use that. We can draw a card because we're Damiel. And that is really awesome because on this check, we can actually roll a d10 and 2d6. And since it's a disable check, Damiel is able to add a total of +4 to that check. Wow, all of a sudden, things are looking better. So 6, 7, and another 7 is 14, +4. Alright, the Collapsing Sphinx is banished thanks to the Acid Flask. Really cool. Alright, continuing, we advance the Blessings deck and we get a Curse of Withering, which really sucks. Fortunately, Damiel has the Mumia, so he's going to go ahead and banish this card. To banish that curse, we are not going to put up with that. We get to draw a card since it's Damiel. And now we can explore. Alright, we get a Elder Afrite. Outsider, Elemental, Janny, Fire are the traits. It's a Combat 19, check to defeat. So it's immune to the Fire trait. All damage dealt is Fire. Let's see, if the check to defeat has a Cold trait, add 1d8. Well, that's really cool because we have an Embalming Fluid, which has a Cold trait. It's not immune to poison. Alright, so that's really cool. So we're going to go ahead and use a Chakram with a Embalming Fluid combo. So that's going to allow us to roll a d10 plus the range skill modifier is +2. And then we're going to be able to roll a d8. We're going to use the Embalming Fluid, which gives us +2. And since we're using the Cold trait, we can add another d8. So we're adding a total of +4 to this roll. That is really cool. Alright, let's go ahead and roll it. So we rolled 8, 9, 10, and 5, +4. Wow, so we defeated it right on the money. How about that? That was close, but we did it. We do have to do the craft check, which is a craft or disable 7. We'll do the craft check. 3, 4, 5. So as long as we don't roll a 1 on a d10, we don't have to bury a card. So we rolled a 10. So this monster is banished. If defeated, choose a type of boon other than loot and draw a boon of that type from the box. Well, let's do something different. We're going to go ahead and we are going to choose what are we going to choose? We're going to choose a weapon. We're doing something new. Damiel wants a weapon. Cut it in half. Damiel gets, boom, a Scorpion Whip. Alright, it's interesting, but unfortunately it's really not going to be that beneficial for Damiel. We'll throw it in his discard pile. Now what we're going to do is, just for fun, we're going to use, no, we'll keep the Blessing of Wadjet. I think we can use it to examine the top card of our location deck. Then you may explore your location. During this exploration, add 1 die to your checks to acquire boons. Let's do it. We're going to examine. Alright, we examine, and it says here, with the Blessing of Wadjet, discard this card to examine the top card of your location deck, then you may explore. Okay, so now we have the option, we may explore, if we want to. So let's see, do we have enough? I think that we are all set. I think that we will be able to defeat this creature. So we will go ahead and explore. So it says it's immune to the mental and poison traits. It's an undead, which means that it's a +7 to defeat. So we need a 27. If the check to defeat has the acid or bludgeoning trait, add 1d8. Well, Damiel has that power where he says that he can recharge a card that has the alchemical trait to add 1d4 and the acid or poison trait to a combat check. But he can do actually 2d4 since he's Damiel. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to recharge the soul stimulant. So recharging the soul stimulant gives us the acid trait. So we can add a d8 to the check. And using Damiel's power, we're rolling an extra 2d4. We're going to go ahead and we're going to use the embalming fluid so that we can add +2 and the poison trait. If the Bane has the undead trait, ignore its immunities. So we're going to be able to add a +2, and we'll just go ahead and use the chakram. So the chakram, we just reveal it and do a D10, and we do a D8, and using the embalming fluid, we get to add a +4 to this roll. Alright, I mean, that's still going to be a little on the dicey side, but we'll try it. Alright. So, rolling all these dice and adding 4 to the results. Let's see what we get. Alright, so we get a 2, we get a 9, we get a 7, we get a 3, and a 4. So we get 9, 10, 11, 9, 10, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 4 is 25, and we add +4 to that roll. So that is awesome. We have defeated the Osteomental Swarm. Let me double check the math here. 7 and 7 is 14, 15, 16, 16, 25, and 7. Wow, so 25. So that's actually better than I thought. 25 and 7 is 32 plus 4 is actually 36. So 16, 17, 18, 18, 19, 25, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and 4. Yeah, so 36, 37. Either way, we have defeated. Well, it says here, if the result of the check to defeat the Osteomental Swarm is greater than 30. So was it greater than 30? We got 7 and 7 is 14, and 7 is 21, 31. Yep, so it's greater than 30. All right. So it says here, and we did defeat it by. Oh, hold on. That was actually the +7 to the. Let's not mix up the dice here. So we rolled a total of 9, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, 25, and we get to add +4, 2 for the ranged and 2 for the embalming fluid. So we defeated it by over 2, right? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, 25, and 4 is 29. So we defeated it by 2. Okay, so we did not defeat it greater than 30. And if you do not defeat the Osteomental Swarm by at least 4, and we did not, so we defeated it, but we are dealt 2 cold damage. So we'll go ahead and, let's see, we have a Scarab Buckler in our hand. We can recharge that to reduce the cold damage. And now what we need to do is we need to reset Damiel's hand, and we are able to. And the good news is that the crypt has been defeated. Alright, pretty exciting adventure there. Did everything by the book, so really happy with that. Another adventure for Damiel in the books, but unfortunately, this has been kind of a Damiel's issue, the whole level. So the entire level 4, Damiel really hasn't been acquiring a lot of loot, so he's not really been able to go to a trader. Let's take a look at his deck here, because everything, let's check out the level 3 and the level 4 items he has. So he has the Viper. Let's see what else has he got. Got the Scarab Sand. So that's the thing, he only has these 2 items to trade to a trader. And these 2 items are pretty awesome, and he doesn't want to lose them. I mean, he could lose the Viper, but he'll still need something to trade. Let's go ahead and see what the reward. So the reward for this scenario was actually a, let me go ahead and zoom in here just for fun. Am I able to zoom in? There we go. So the reward for this scenario was actually a random non-basic blessing. So I'm going to roll D20, D30, and a D6 here. So okay, so this is the is it a non-basic blessing? No, it's basic. So okay, so we actually get this blessing as a reward, and that is really cool because we're on level 3. So now all of a sudden we have 2 cards to trade to a trader. So Damiel is going to go to a trader now. So that's cool how that was the reward. So we're going to go to Falsine Deek once again, and we're going to say, Falsine Deek, can you give us some really cool items? So we're going to shuffle this item deck right now, and what we're going to do is we'll roll D30. We're going to roll 2, so second one down. Let's see what kind of cards he's offering. So Falsing Deke is offering items of level 3 or 4. Okay, and once again, he keeps trying to sell us this spell bottle. From a narrative point of view, it's actually quite hilarious. So the Bloodroot Poison, I mean, it's interesting. It's a liquid. And if we play a weapon on a combat check, we can add 1d8 in the poison trait. So, I mean, it's cool, but it's not. So once again, Falsing Deke does not come through for us, does not have anything interesting that we want, and Damiel does want a lot of cool stuff in the items that he just hasn't been getting. I think the Sun Rod is what he's really after. Alright, so that is the end of the adventure. I will have another adventure up shortly. It'll be the last adventure of level 4. Alright, well, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. It was a lot of fun playing it. And I'll have another adventure up shortly. Thank you.